7 suspects linked to illegal mining have been arrested in Carletonville and Khutsong. According to police, some vehicles and homemade firearms were also seized yesterday. Let's talk about this then with Willem Els from the Institute for Security Studies. Willem, a very good afternoon to you. Welcome back to Daytime Update. How significant is this progress in the fight against illegal mining, especially considering the attention it's garnered in the last 2 to 3 months?
Good afternoon to you. Yes, I think this arrests really go a long way to restore the trust of the public in the police and the Hawks for dealing with this matter. As you rightly mentioned, after the incidents at Krugersdorp, there was a huge pressure on the police in order to make some progress. We must just understand they're calling these people kingpins. In your hierarchy of your organized crime syndicates, these buyers, I doubt if they are the top kingpins of the syndicate. So we believe that further investigation will even lead us to the very top, where who is orchestrating and pulling all the strings to make this very heinous crime in South Africa make it happen.
And you mentioned the issue of kingpins. I mean, when you look at these people who've been arrested now, I think 6 transactions were listed in the police statement. That amounts to about R500,000. It does it not, deal with the misconception that illegal mining is purely a poor man's game, so to speak?
Yeah, I think that busted that perception, definitely so. You know, where some poor people may have initially started with this mining, you know, it's been captured by your organized crime syndicates, and it became a very big business for them, not only for South Africa, but also for of course, your kingpins in other countries where this gold is being exported to, because they can export them at lower prices than the production price of the mines. That
to me then brings up a different element to what we've been talking about after the gang rape of those 8 women in Krugersdorp, where we're talking about sealing off mining dumps, making sure that there's security perhaps around, because if whatever is dug up is going across the border or perhaps even further beyond our neighboring countries, for instance, that speaks to controls, does it not, at the borders?
That's where you mentioned 2 problems now. The first is the problem of the sealing of the Madala sites, the old worked out sites. Yes, the mines do that, but these people always find a way to break around this barricades that have been put up there. When I was still in the police, when we worked on these issues, you know, that we found that these people make extensively use of, for instance, your ventilation shafts. That normally goes down in an angle. They can walk down in an angle down to the mine, up to 2 kilometers down underground. And they just have means, you know, they have time. They dig their tunnels around these obstacles, and then they gain access. Or they just break open these obstacles that have been welded there, for instance. So that's the one side of the problem, that it is very difficult to seal off these type of access that the people can have. Secondly, the porous borders is a huge problem for us. It's not just a challenge for South Africa, it's a problem in Africa that needs urgent attention, because what is a border, international border for the law enforcement officer, is just a barrier to cross for the organized criminal.
And how are they able to get it across? Is it through bribery of officials, or just concealing the contraband or whatever they've stolen?
Whenever you look at organized crime and you look at these syndicates cannot operate without infiltrating law enforcement and other hierarchies of government in order to facilitate their work. So, of course, there will be officers that are being bribed in all departments, because if you look at the export, it's customs, it's immigration, it's the police, etc., that are being, and the military on our borders. They are being targeted by these people, and remember, these people are talking big money. So but they make it very lucrative for these people to sacrifice their integrity and then become part of these syndicates to facilitate whatever they want to do.
Does government's then strategy to deal with illegal mining speak to that complexity, where we've now moved beyond an old mine dump, but you've got stolen, shall we say, minerals on the roads, possibly even taken through air, like a flight, for instance, I beg your pardon?
Yeah. I think what was really encouraging is that the minister also mentioned that this investigation into these people have been ongoing since 2018. Now, we all know that if you really want to make an impact, that is normally the way to go. It is time consuming. You have to throw a lot of money, a lot of effort, a lot of manpower towards these things in order to effectively investigate it. And the fact that they were targeting the whole chain, as it seems to me, because according to reports, they are also going to arrest more people higher up than these people. It's an indication for us that they got a strategy there in order to break down the whole syndicate and not just focusing on the foot soldiers who are the people that are actually the Zamazamas.
Thank you very much for that. Willem Els speaking to us about illegal mining in South Africa and the latest bust made by law enforcement.